Really appreciate everyone joining us today. I am joined by longtime Consero client and friend, David Westbrook, who is both the CFO and principal of Roberson Stephens.
Yes, so how we came into being is LongArc was very interested in this space, had been talking to me and various other people about how they could get into the space. And they found a couple of teams that were in San Francisco that had sort of been orphaned. And so they acquired those teams and formed Roberson Stephens literally on December 31st, 2017. At that point, I was in discussions with them, but I was also busy doing some other things. And so the whole question became, oh, what do we do? These teams want to start on 12/31/17. And we really don't have anybody except the advisors and a couple of staff that were supporting the advisors. So there was no compliance function, no finance function, nothing. So a real startup in that sense. And so the decision was made, let's, rather than go out and hire a bunch of people, let's outsource for these various services. And that included the accounting and finance functions. And so we entered into a relationship with Bridgeview, which part of Consero today, to hire them. And the big advantage, and the reason we did that, is the story was simple. Well, David, we can hire just you. You don't have to hire a team. You don't have to find an accounting system and everything, because it literally was a blank piece of paper. And Consero could bring all of that to the table. And then scale as we scale. So we had a very aggressive plan to grow. We were starting with $500 million of assets under management. And we were like, well, if we're going to be adding people, it's going to take time to find those people, hire them. Going with a solution like Consero, it's a very easy, switch it on. I just phone over to Bartley and say, hey, Bartley, we adding another team. But from the services we receive from you, it is a full suite of services. So we receive everything from HR and payroll. So Consero helped us assess various PEOs, and we ultimately selected TriNet at the time, and they continue to help us reassess if we should stay with TriNet or consider other alternatives as well. But Consero handles that whole relationship for us, from both HR, payroll, benefits, and everything else that's related there. I just have to review and make decisions, which makes life easy there. Then the other aspect then is our interface from accounts payable, accounts receivable, the general ledger. Consero takes care of all of that for me as well. Again, I just sit at the top of the pyramid and make decisions, do final approval. Consero helps significantly with us getting our audit done timely, generating the reports that the auditors need. I kind of go away. I can actually, it's kind of fun. I can actually go away and have winter vacations and go skiing or snowboarding for 2 weeks during the January-February timeframe, which I never was able to do previously, and not have to worry about it, because Consero's got things under control with the auditors. So we have well thought out processes, appropriate segregation of duties, all thanks to Consero, that we haven't had to really worry about or design, because Consero took care of designing that. And that, one, makes the auditors happy, but two, makes our investors very happy, because they can look at it and see that we have the appropriate controls, and those mitigate the risks of financial fraud in the organization. So that is one big advantage. The other advantage that the investors all take from it is they kind of, I've had a few of them tell me, oh, that's great. You have an audit report, but you also have an outside accounting firm doing the work. So they view it almost like having two auditors to a degree, because they say, well, that makes it just that much less risky that something's wrong in the reporting or the financials. So that has been we've actually highlighted that now when we talk to people, that we have this, so to say, dual protection mechanism in place. And then the other advantage is, I am getting up there in age, and at some point I'm planning on retiring. I'm hoping this will be my last gig. And so it gives my CEO a lot of comfort knowing that we have Consero there, and that if I retire or get run over by a bus, it literally, there is someone, there's a whole team at Consero who he could reach out to and who know everything I know. Yeah. So from my perspective, all my prior positions as a CFO had a fully functioning accounting department with staff and accounting systems, so I didn't have to worry. Some of them we tweaked things and upgraded things, but nothing significant. But back in my Deloitte days, I'd been very involved with financial implementations. I did a number of SAP, PeopleSoft implementations, and it helped various companies. So when I was taking this job, I knew what could go wrong. SAP implementation, I've never met one that's on budget, on time, ever. And I hate to admit it, I was part of the Deloitte team that was quoting you that would get you up and running on SAP in 1 year for $1 million or $2 million, and it would be 2 years and $4 million. So yes, it's seen many of the bloodbaths of implementing accounting systems, and that was, as I was moving into this role, that was one of my immediate concerns is, hang on, we've got to get an accounting system. Are we going to go with QuickBooks? And as much as I love QuickBooks for smaller organizations, I hate QuickBooks from a control perspective. And I having audited many firms that use QuickBooks, I know how it's painful from an audit point of view. And so I didn't want to go the QuickBooks route. And I was like, oh, I got to go through and find an accounting system. Oh, I got to find an accounts payable person. And I just said, no, this is, I don't want to do this, especially in a startup environment where I had a million other things to look at. Is that, sure, I could focus on getting all of these building blocks in place, but then I wouldn't be focused on building the business, which is what they really needed me focused on. And so that was the big advantage. I mean, it really was turnkey. We spent some time looking at firms like Consero that we could partner with, made our decision, and they had us up and running within a week. And that, I wouldn't have even been able to, so to say, come up with a list of accounting packages to consider in the same amount of time that we went from having nothing to being fully functional.
Well, thank you for joining. Thanks again, David. Great to meet you.